Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope Canada by Moksha Canada. This is the live, inclusive, and resilient music and art series podcast. I'm your host every Sunday, Carlo Bianchini. It's so nice to see you again. Thanks so much for joining me. And today I'm joined by a lovely guest and friend, Julia Leclerc.
Hey, everyone.
So nice to have you on. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm so good. It's nice to see you in person.
It's nice to see you in person too. Julie and I are taking classes together at Queen's University right now, and we've been online for the past little bit because of the lockdown and pandemic and everything. Yes, for far too long. But it's lovely to see you in person. How are you doing? You're doing good.
I'm good. I'm excited to be somewhere that's not my house.
Yeah. This is a really great opportunity for local artists and talent within Toronto and the GTA, or all of Ontario, to showcase their talent. And we're going to hear some lovely music theater rep, I hear.
You sure are.
Awesome. So why don't we talk a little bit about just like your journey as an artist in general? Like, how did you get started? Like, how did you know you wanted to do something with music, with dance, with drama, with acting?
So I grew up competitively dancing, as all young girls seem to do these days, and it just stuck. Like I started when I was 2. I started competing when I was probably 6, and then I competed all the way through. And then
You started when you were 2 years old?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Mom needed something to do with me. I was nuts.
Wow.
Shoved me in a dance class.
All of that energy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it just never went away. So I really stuck with tap dancing. That was like my first love. It was just something that really worked with my brain because, I don't know, Carlo, do you have experience tap dancing?
I love tap dancing.
There's just it's so specific and it can be so musical and just more than like the showy aspect of it. So I competed with that, and then I started doing that professionally when I was 16. And then I kind of auditioned for theater school on a whim. Like my drama teacher in high school, who was so awesome and saw something in me, signed me up for my Sheridan audition, and I blew the audition. I was like, there's no way I'm getting in here. I don't know if you know the story, but I didn't bring the right sheet music, and I had to sing my rep a cappella with in front of like 18 people. And I clearly charmed them or something because I got in, and I spent 4 years at Sheridan, and it was great.
That's like auditioning 101, everybody. Like bring the right sheet music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew nothing about anything. And I mean, obviously at Sheridan, you're learning singing, dancing, acting, music theory, clown, like everything, right? So I kind of covered my bases, but I did have to work my way back up because the piano accompanist was like, you got in? Wait a minute.
I remember you.
Yeah, we have a great relationship now, but it didn't start out that way.
That's so cool. And like tap dancing is like obviously like your favorite, like you said, like it's the one dance that you've kind of stuck with. Mm-hmm. And I love tap dancing as well. Killer tap dancer right here, by the way.
Thank you.
But it's so cool, right? Because I feel like it involves like musical elements, like rhythm, like so much. Like I talked about this in a podcast prior with Michaela Stradioto, who you know is also from Sheridan.
Yep.
And we were just talking about like for myself, like I don't always know the like technical terms of what the steps are called, but because of my music background, I can pick up on what the rhythm is, and like I know if it's like a heel or a toe,
Yeah, totally. I had a teacher like my last couple of years competing, who would literally come into the room and be like, all right, so you're going to go boo, ba-da-lee-da, ba-ba-ba-da. And I was like, oh my God, I get it.
I know what that is.
Like, and you're like, totally. Like,
Which
I know
is
what
a
it
talent
is.
in itself, I have to say, right? Just kind of being able to pick up on that stuff.
It's incredible. And I think there's so many layers to tap dancing. So when I'm teaching my little guys, like I'm a dance teacher as well, I'm obviously not going to do that. I'm going to say, okay, now you're going, like heel, brush. It's like very broken down, very specific. But then you get to a point where you only have 2 taps on your shoe.
Yeah.
So you can only do so many things.
Yeah.
Right. So when you get to that point, it's way more about the rhythmic aspect of it, way more than like, okay, and now I'm gonna, add a jazz hand here. Like it's not about that anymore, right?
The technical aspect of it is not so. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Totally. Yeah. So I think I think it's just so important that it's cool because it's a dance. But it's also, you can play percussion in a band if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you can take away the drummer. Obviously, you're not going to because that's important. But take away the drummer and you've got a percussionist. So yeah, it's really cool.
No, that's awesome. And it's like, it's something you feel, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, we're both studying, music education and drama education at Queen's University right now. And like for music especially, it's something that you can teach, and there are technical aspects to it, and there are, things that you can do to learn music in a proper and better way. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just something that you feel as well.
I think so.
And I think we're learning as like artists, like how to communicate that to students a lot of the time too. And like that can be a challenge, but it's like so interesting because I feel like tap is a dance where that really, both of those things connect. You know, you feel it and you're doing it, and there's a technical aspect to it. There's so many things that are interconnected. So many things
happening. It's nuts.
About teaching then, so started off as a competitive dancer, got into acting school, did the acting training, right? And were you teaching throughout like Sheridan as well? Were you teaching throughout theater school, like dance and whatnot too?
I was. So I tried to, once you get out of the scene, it's kind of hard to like, especially with tap dance, how many tap dancers do you know, right? Like once you get out, it's kind of hard to make your way back in. So I started working, I had probably 1 or 2 studios, and then I throughout Sheridan did like 3, 4, 5 sometimes. Because I think it's important to keep those connections. And I've met so many great people. Like it's all about who you know. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah. I mean, they say that in the industry all the time.
Right? And I think too, it kept me as the student, right? Like at Sheridan, I was going to school every day learning from all these great professors, but then I also got to step into the role of a teacher. Like, you know, so if I learned something in my acting class at Sheridan, and then I, you know, maybe it's not about acting, but it's still a strategy that I can take to like my own dancers and implement it that way. So I think it was just great to keep doing that part of it. Because, you know, they talk at Queen's all the time about like ongoing professional learning, right? It's like a buzzword this week, I guess. And totally. Just, like making sure that you are still learning, because that's how you're going to, you know, stay up to date and know what's going on and what the best practices are.
And learning from your students a lot of the time too is like the coolest thing ever, right?
Big time.
Being an arts teacher in general and an artist who is an arts teacher who practices both, right? Because like we got some time to discuss like, you know, just like artists in the classroom and whether or not teachers who are teaching right now, who have been in high school for a number of years, are still going about their own practice and like still practicing their craft as artists, as music teachers, as drama teachers. And like they were all like, oh yeah, like you need to. And one of them in a Zoom discussion that we had with them was just like, oh yeah, like I took an hour to practice before this class, or I'm taking this year off to just kind of work on writing a musical, for example, right? And it's like, it's so interesting to hear like them talk about the balance between having the time to teach and focus on your students and do that, but also not let go of the craft that puts you into teaching in the first place.
Totally.
I mean, what do you think about that balance, right? Because I know we're in Teachers College still, but like you've been teaching for a number of years. Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think if you don't keep doing what you love, you're going to eventually fizzle out, right? And I was on a practicum in the fall, and I saw the music teacher, you know, one of those teachers, veteran, knew what was going on, knew what he was going to teach day by day, but like he was also a jazz musician. So he was saying he's finding it really difficult to come, you know, motivated and ready to get the kids, because the kids right now, like, as I'm sure you know, it's extremely difficult to get them to be excited about the arts when there's nothing really happening in the communities. It's literally they come to their music class for an hour a day, maybe 2 hours, depending on the different systems that they're doing. And you got to keep them entertained. It's like, it's really difficult. So this one teacher was saying, you know, had I continued over COVID with my, you know, music in any way, I feel like I would be in a different headspace. I would be willing to, you know, like I would be taking what I was learning from my own practice and giving it to the kids, but now I don't have that kind of spark. So he was feeling burnt out, as I'm sure many teachers are, right?
Yeah, and you need to feel that spark as an artist yourself. I feel like in order to be more passionate about the things that you're teaching.
Yeah, right? And I mean, like, even like we're at school in class on Zoom every day. It's at the end of the day, you're like, oh my, like you're just exhausted. But then I've been finding like the past couple of weeks, I have access to a dance studio, which is obviously empty right now. So I'm super grateful for that. But I will have class for 7 hours and then force myself to go to the dance studio and just turn on like, I have a very strange music taste. So it's just like whatever comes on, I will just groove to for like an hour.
That's so cool.
And it makes me feel so much better. And it makes me feel like I can be present in class and I'm not even teaching right now. So I think it's important to let yourself do that.
It's therapeutic in a way.
It is therapeutic.
And if you've been a like avid listener of this podcast, that's almost a theme that like I've discussed with a lot of my guests that have been on here, and that's one thing that I think is super important to touch on, especially during difficult times, is that arts is a form of therapy and healing in a lot of ways too. And it's like that point that you made about the kids having to inspire the kids to sort of like say, hey, this is why it's so great. I mean, there were days in my drama placement where I had to show students what shows were like, right? So I'd show them like a mega musical, like Phantom of the Opera, and like, you know, show them
you can find,
the technical aspects of like the chandelier falling down and like just the whole drama of it, right? And they're like, wow, I didn't even realize that something like that existed and that was out there. Because in a world now where you have an attention span of just like swiping up on TikTok videos all the time, it's like, okay, this, and it's like it's very small, you know, and there's not a lot of like teamwork into like that, it's kind of like put into some of those things sometimes. And so it's like, you know, just opening them up to like broader perspectives is so important, you know?
Absolutely. And I think too, with that, like everything that this, you know, podcast stands for too, like inclusivity in the arts as well, seeing there was a revival of Oklahoma where the lead actress was in a wheelchair.
Wow.
So like showing, and I'm pretty sure she won a Tony for it as well. I don't remember her name right now, feeling terrible, but whatever that actor, like incredible, right?
Yeah.
And it's important for students to be able to see like the arts can do the things like, you know, Phantom of the Opera and the big chandelier and all the choreography, and that's so great. But it also is like, it can include anyone and everyone, which is something, you know, like I had some of the spec ed kids in my placement in my class, and just making sure they were collaborating with their peers, and like imagine that feeling of belonging, which is like, I mean, is important for everybody, but some people feel it more so than others, right? Yeah. So to get that, you know, student with autism who has no friends at the school to be part of like a group assignment where he has a role, and maybe even if it's not a role, like is in charge of the costumes, like giving them a task and making sure that they're able to
he's a part of the cast. They are a part of the cast. They're a part of something greater, and that's that whole thing about what I mean about like opening up that perspective. Like it's not just about me as an individual, it's about like what I can bring to the group, to the team, what I have to offer. And it makes like I often find like when students haven't experienced that level of like openness before in a classroom, it's what keeps bringing people back to the arts. And it's why you see kids come back to the drama classroom years later and be like, wow, I had a really good time doing this with my castmates and my you know, my classmates here in drama. And it's why they come back and they say, oh, you know, hey mister, hey miss, to the drama classes. And it's so important. So it's all related. It's all connected. When you have that spark and when you have that passion as an artist yourself, that's just going to show it's going to show up so much in your teaching, and your students are going to be like, wow, like this person really loves what they're doing, and you can tell. So I'm going to put in just as much effort into this class. And they do, you know?
Yeah, they do. You have to show it to them though. That's I think so important as teachers. And like, I'm sure you look back at some of your old teachers, like your favorite ones were probably the ones that treated you like a person and not like a student, right? And just being so dedicated and available, and like they need to trust you and you need to trust them, right? That's going to create a healthy relationship, student teacher, like human on human even, right? So
and it involves breaking down some walls, I think, sometime, because you know a lot of students,
always a challenge somewhere.
There is always a challenge, and I think like a part of that as a young artist and like a teacher going out into that profession is like being ready for that challenge, you know?
Just take it and run with it. There's always going to be that one kid. And listen, it's so rewarding when you get the one kid who's, oh, miss, I hate drama. Drama's so dumb. Drama's this.
I hate performing.
Yeah. And then, like, I had this happen, like, you know, typical football boy, hated drama. Boo, this class is the worst. And then at the end of the semester, got up by himself and delivered an incredible monologue, memorized with emotion, eye contact, and I'm very emotional, so I'm sitting in the back like shedding real tears, right? Because that's such a big moment in it. And I think like I'm very passionate about arts education, as I'm sure you are as well, but like I think everyone needs to take a drama class at some point. Yeah. Like it's teaching you public speaking, it's teaching you collaboration, it's teaching you, you know, self-reflection. Like we get them to write those journals all the time, and they think it's, you know, why am I doing this? And then they get to look back and see all the improvement that they've made. It's creative problem solving. It's how am I going to make sure that, this person, the attention is on this person when I'm over here doing something, it's so many things. And I think,
social skills, right? Like it's building all of those up.
I know.
Even if you never go out and perform a day in your life, like taking it is just going to improve the way that you interact with people and the way that you notice things around you in your environment.
Yeah.
Setting up healthy boundaries even is another thing that's going to be brought way more into, arts education too, which I think is really important.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, math and science is super important. We need it. Don't
Absolutely.
Get me wrong.
Yes.
That said, I think it's also important for, like drama, even a dance class at school, like delivering arts to the people who can't do it extracurricularly.
Yeah, who might not have the time to do it outside of school.
Funds, like
Totally.
there are so many things going on in people's lives. So having that available in public education to make sure that, they are getting exposed to that and everyone is getting a fair shot at finding their passion, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. So speaking about passion then, let's go back to the whole like kind of music theater thing, right? For me, I think, because music theater is intertwined with so many different things that you study as artists, right? And it's like, it involves that dance element to it. It involves that singing element to it, the musical element to it, the acting element to it. Like, what's your process when you begin to kind of start working on a music theater piece? Like for an audition, for example, right? Like, how do you select an audition piece? How do you go out and be like, oh, this is the piece that I'm going to sing? Like what do you do for that?
I think they tell you a lot when you're choosing repertoire. Like, you're playing a character. You're supposed to have this book full of all these different characters. So if you were to walk into an audition, you could, depending on what they wanted, right? You could be like ready to go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think I need to connect to it on a personal level. So one of the songs I'll be performing today, Hold Down the Fort, about, her relationship with her brother. Like, I have a brother. And actually his name is Johnny and the brother's name is Johnny in the song.
Wow.
So that just comes full circle.
Yes.
But I feel that, like, I have to be able to feel it. I mean, like, you can only act to a certain extent, right? So I need to be able to understand it on like a personal level, as well as just like showing off personality. I've got a lot of it, and I've got lots of different sides, right? So I want,
which is amazing for musical theater.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
That's what you want.
Got into it after all. And just, I don't know, something where I can I love a belt. I love a belt.
Who doesn't love a good belt?
Who doesn't love a good belt, right? Yeah. So something that can show off.
To those who are not familiar, we should probably preface that with like belting is that term that we use in singing, where a lot of pop singers do it nowadays too, where you're just kind of going full chest voice, right? It's like all from here as opposed to kind of switching into that head voice or that falsetto. And it's really kind of hitting those higher notes, like in a very strong, epic way. Yeah.
Usually at the end of the song, you got to save it all.
Yeah.
Just let it all out at the end.
Yeah.
So showing off, what you can do vocally, like at Sheridan, my God, we did folk songs. We learned Italian for a hot moment. We were doing it all. We were like,
there is an aspect too where you have to kind of study the classical, singing style, right? I'm not so good with it myself. I come at things from like a pop perspective. I definitely appreciate the technical aspect of it that comes from that. So.
Totally. And I mean, one of the things I did at Sheridan, which I don't know if you got to do when you were there, but I did like a minor in commercial performance. So
that was new for your.
I think my year might have been the first year. So my prof for that class was all about like, Julia, have you sang a country song yet? And I was like, why would I do that?
What?
But then I sang it and I was like, oh my God. I didn't know I had that. So, and you're learning things. You're learning like the cries from that. You're learning the different like vocal stylings of those genres to then put into a musical theater piece, because that is ultimately what you're going to be doing. So just expanding your horizons. I feel like Sheridan was really great at making us well-rounded performers, because it kind of forced you to be. But I even think of, some of the things I do in my audition rep that is, makes it not so just the notes on the page.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, always sing the notes on the page.
Always sing the notes on the page. In music theater, right? Like,
yeah.
Unless the people at the audition panel tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, if they tell you to improvise, it's another thing. But
totally different story.
That's probably not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen. Well, but
definitely.
it gives you an informed decision. And it's the same thing too, like bring it back to tap dance. Like, you know all the steps, so your improv is an informed decision. You're not just gonna, like, I'm not gonna sing a musical theater song and decide to make it sound like disco. You know what I, like, it just doesn't work. So making sure your decision is working with, you know, what you're doing. And that goes for choreography, that goes for, you know, approaches to your pieces, that goes for everything. So, yeah.
No, it's super important. Auditioning is really tough, but it's a part of the... I mean, auditioning is just like interviewing for a job, right? And it's like a lot of the time they say like they know the second that you walk in there whether or not you're going to get a role, a part, or you're going to be the ensemble, whatever, right? And it's just like it can be really nerve-wracking in a way. So like what you said about building that connection to the song that you're performing is like super important, because then you can just kind of go to that place and not have to worry too much about what's around you or faking it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm excited to hear the songs. I'm excited. And so let's go over what you're singing one more time.
I'm singing Hold Down the Fort from John and Jen, which I haven't actually seen in production, but would love to see. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it in production.
No, it's not done often. It's just 2 actors on stage.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Is this an opportunity?
Right now.
maybe one day, Carlo.
One day. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And Lost in the Brass from Band Keys, which I also haven't seen. That was like a short run as well. So would love to see both of those.
And that's one of those songs that we can talk about belting wise, right? Like that's one of those for sure. I'm excited to hear it.
Thanks. I'm excited to sing them for you.
Yeah. So let's plug your socials. So you can follow Julia on Instagram at...
I've got 2 accounts. Julia_Leclerc is my first one. And I also have a dance account just because all of my dance kiddos love to know what I'm up to all the time.
Yeah.
So that one is missjulia.dance.
Wow, amazing. So a teacher, an artist, a performer, and a very passionate one at that. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on. I'm really excited to listen to you.
Thanks so much, Carlo.
and hear you sing.
Thanks.
And thank you, Moksha Canada, for this, this opportunity to do this podcast. I feel super grateful, as I always say, to bring in artists and educators, such as yourself.
It's been so awesome. So thank you.
Yeah. Let's get started. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Leclerc. I'm a theater artist from the GTA, as well as an arts educator. And I'm going to be singing for you Hold Down the Fort. Are you gonna miss me, John? Come visit me at college. Hold down the fort, hotshot. Show all the world what you've got. Start to learn what life's about. And when you want to throw something, throw someone out. Hold down the fort. Hold down the fort. You're so strong and you've just started growing. So remember the one thing worth knowing. Where you come from is no place like where you're going. And when the world is against you, and when you feel like exploding, and when you want to play tough guy, play baseball instead. Just play baseball, Johnny, as long as you can. And hold down the fort, kid brother. Hold down the fort, young man. Thank you. The next song I'm going to be singing for you is Lost in the Brass. Buddy, I'm always buddy. I'm a girl for your information, forever in this situation, waiting and hoping he'll notice how I'm feeling. But every time I get him near, I fade away, I disappear. That's me, never getting heard. He just smiles and walks away like I never said a word. Oh, I'll be solo obligato, cutting loud and clear, right through the tuba blast, soaring high. much.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Thanks,
That
Carlo.
was Julia Leclerc, everybody, and I'm so grateful to have you on here.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having me
so
on here.
much. If you're an artist yourself, get involved at Moksha Canada on Instagram, on Facebook. Support your artists, right? If you want to see more local talent just like this, make sure to head over to mokshacanadafoundation.com. If you're an artist yourself, we really want to see your talent, and we want to see you shine up here too. So get involved, okay? It's really, really important. I'll be your host every Sunday. My name is Carlo Bianchini, and thank you so much, Julia, once again. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope Canada by Moksha Canada. This is the live, inclusive, and resilient music arts podcast. I'm your host every Sunday, Carlo Bianchini, and today I have a very special guest and a friend of mine, Will Lincoln-Gouett. Hey, Will.
Hey.
Thanks so much for coming on
Long time no
today.
see. Thanks for having me.
I know. We were just talking because we actually went to theater school together. And we did some shows together and had a really, really great time.
Great time.
We've been just sort of catching up in between our stuff here, and it's been really great to see you, man.
Been over 2 years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
At
No,
all.
it doesn't. I mean, like over the pandemic and stuff, time can kind of move slowly. Time can kind of move fast. It's, it's
I try not to
strange.
think about it.
Yeah, not thinking about that anymore. But this is a really great opportunity for artists to kind of showcase their talent, and we're looking for local artists of all kind, in Ontario, in the GTA, Toronto. So if you're an artist that's looking to promote their music and promote yourself as an artist, come on, get involved at Moksha Canada on Facebook, on Instagram. So little plug there. So let's talk, man. What have you been up to?
Well, obviously theater has not really been super prominent as of late. And I just, when the pandemic started, I had so much time on my hands and needed to process everything that was going on. And I'd been through some stuff prior, and I needed to process that. And I thought maybe I'll try writing music for the first time, because I never took myself seriously as honestly, as a creator. Like, I can do other people's material and I'm really good at that, but I never took myself seriously as a creator, which was so stupid looking back on it.
It's difficult though. It's super challenging to come at it from a perspective like, okay, I'm really good at doing covers of songs of artists that I vibe with,
which is fun.
It's so much fun, and it's awesome, and it's great if that's what you're doing. But to go then and start writing and creating your own music and something that comes from the heart, and
go to places that maybe you didn't know were there or whatever. It's,
or maybe places you don't want to go sometimes because it's hard. But it gives you such emotionally deep work. That's always a good outcome.
It did feel rewarding. I felt like I did work through some stuff by just trying writing, not even being good at it. Some stuff was super cheeky or just silly, but I did get something out of it.
Yeah.
So
it's therapeutic in a way too,
really
right?
Is, yeah.
And we kind of need that as artists. I mean, so we both graduated from Sheridan College's music theater program in 2019.
Class of 19.
Yeah, class of 19. And then basically the pandemic hit, right? And so theater work was just kind of out, for quite some time. And writing is so therapeutic. I'm really, really glad that you found that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I've gone all over the map, folk, tried R&B. It's fun to discover who you are.
R&B too.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's fun to discover the different things that resonate with you and the things that don't, or maybe even something doesn't resonate with you, but you're good at it. You know what I mean? It sounds natural to you.
That's another one too.
People would always tell me that I had a great voice for country, but I don't think I could write a country
voice
song.
like butter, by the way, everybody. Can't wait for you guys to see.
He's being kind of nice right now.
No, I can see that for you too. But I mean, so what are some of your musicians, inspirations, artists that you kind of look to when you're thinking about your own writing? Because you're from Kingston, Ontario, and Kingston has a lot of artists.
So many great artists.
Right?
Artists have come out of Kingston.
Yeah,
and I'm
I think one more very soon. So.
Oh, wow. This guy.
But who's your inspiration? And we doesn't have to be from Kingston, but I just thought I would.
Well, I mean, obviously the Tragically Hip,
right? That's
all my life I grew up listening to them, and I listened to them all through my life. They, some of those songs have remind me of key moments in my life. So definitely some inspiration there.
Yeah.
Songs about real people and stories and stuff like that. I love Nathaniel Rateliff. His solo stuff is amazing, really beautiful writing, really like deep but simple lyrics. And he has a band too, and their band is awesome. Like I've seen his band and it was electrifying. So definitely those. I mean, I wouldn't say that my writing signifies this, but like I love Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
More than anyone. Stevie Wonder is my favorite. Obviously, I can't play the keys like Stevie Wonder or sing like Stevie Wonder. But I just really enjoy listening to Stevie Wonder because you hear all these crazy sounds. Like you put on a nice pair of headphones and you hear things that like, you're like, how did they come up with that? Like rhythms and counter melodies and all these things. And those are things that I took going forward. Definitely not his style, but like some of those elements.
Yeah, no, well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Taking musical elements from an artist that you're not necessarily like, you know, the same style as, but you're taking that and incorporating it into your own music and your own style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Superstition by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
I could never write a song like Superstition, but I put my headphones on and you hear like just like some crazy clav in the background just going like, like doing rhythm instead of melody. And it's like, how can I do that with what I'm doing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's so interesting. You know, I just got a flashback because in our third year of our Sheridan program, we work on something called pop critiques. And we could just basically get to do 3 pop songs in front of a lot of people at Buddies and Bad Times in Toronto. Really great time.
Yeah.
I remember working with you on a pop song. I did a George Harrison song. Do you remember that?
Oh,
the spiritual song?
Yeah.
And I just remember
Forgive Me. Is it Forgive Me, Lord? Or,
yes. Yeah.
Great song, man.
And I just remember Will picking up on like the most subtle musical elements and like most subtle things. And he sat down on the piano and he basically just like music directed the entire time. And I was like astonished. I was like, dude, thank you so much. Like that was fantastic.
And it came together so well because the way you staged it and everything just came together. And like, it's just like a class, you know, we're all just having fun, but it was like powerful. Yeah, it was really cool.
It was really powerful. Yeah. And I just remember you being able to pick up on like the subtleties of that. So when you say you pick up on like, you know, those musical elements from like Stevie Wonder or like, you know, the artists that you're inspired by, and you kind of think about it and incorporate some, like you take away little things.
Yeah.
It's like that thing you hear all the time of like, you know, artists are always borrowing from other artists. You know what I mean?
Oh, big time.
And it's like, oh, I like that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to, you know, put it and do it this way, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So.
And like, that's huge. Even like, there's only so many chord combinations and progressions out there.
Right?
Like, it's all recycled. My songs are like, some people play the same chords too, but it's all about like, what are you contributing to it that's yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you find that like, you know, over the like periods of lockdowns and stuff like that, when you've been writing, like, do you ever have a song that you like can't quite finish and then you like go back to it and like start writing it again or like change certain things?
All
or
of
like
them.
All of them?
I think maybe I wrote like one song in one go one time.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like I have songs that I started writing in 2020 that I'm going to play today that I tweaked literally maybe 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like it's never done and you're never satisfied.
Mm-hmm. I kind of love that though.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Like you never know what's going to come of like, maybe you start writing a folk song and then all of a sudden it's, I don't know, like an indie pop song.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It changes along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I love that too. And that's like part of the fun of it. And just, I don't know, just being silly. I held myself back, like in terms of like everything art throughout my entire life. I always held myself back, and now that I'm a bit older and slightly more mature, I like just realize how silly that was because like every time I could have done something, the only person that was stopping me was me, and so it's fun to just sit down and be like really, just like. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Just do something silly.
I mean, dude, how many people can say the same thing?
Silly. What's that?
Like, how many people can say the same thing? Like, that's what a lot of people go through.
You are your biggest obstacle, your biggest critic. Yeah. Like, stop doing that. Just go for it.
Yeah.
I wish I did that more in theater school. I totally like my biggest regret is just I held myself back so much. And I think that's
a lot of us can say that
thing.
for sure. Like in theater school is its own thing, well, you know. I mean, like, by the way, like killer actor here as well.
Decent actor.
So We were in a couple shows together in our final year, and that's a thing with theater school. I think a lot of it has to do with like the classroom environment, because like learning how to be an actor and like going through the process of like being emotionally vulnerable in front of certain people isn't the easiest thing to do.
In front of people who are sometimes really good at that too. Yeah. And so then like you end up comparing yourself to, and that's another huge thing to avoid is like, I compared myself to everybody. And I'm so different from everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we're all different. Why do we do that?
Yeah. And Sheridan can kind of have that aspect of like, I feel like our year was very good at being like, we're a family, we're a unit, that kind of thing. But then it was also like there was a competitive aspect to it, of course, right? Like you are inevitably going to compete with some of these people for roles, for this, for whatever. So it's like, yeah, it was hard because you're in a room, you're doing a class like music theater performance, and you see this like person go up and do their thing, right? And then it's like, wow, I appreciate them so much as an artist, but like, okay, what are the things that I can like number one steal from them?
It's like, oh wait, I'm next.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I have to go up next. Am I gonna be just as good? Am I as well prepared today?
It's hard. And like you're a young like. Hey, when you're in your early 20s, I'm only 25, so like what do I know? But like when you're 19, 20, 21, whatever, like you're so impressionable and so scared.
Yeah, it's an age thing
I was just like a little baby who was scared to like look ugly or be silly or something like that. And other people are just like killing it. Yeah. Other people are so good at that. And I admire that about them. But you can't compare yourself to those people.
And like reflecting back to it, it's like, having that same emotional vulnerability and that courage to kind of go forward and like get up and try new things in those acting classes, I bet like you've noticed probably helps a lot with writing and like being vulnerable enough to say, okay, this is me. I wrote this.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like, I don't know if this is good or not, but this is my child. Yeah. And I'm going to show you what I have.
No concept of what it's going to look like, sound like, whatever you're doing. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just, it's also a very different setting. Like that world is a very different setting. Yeah. But I mean, even like today, milestone for me. I don't like sing my stuff in front of people. I've probably shared a song or two with 1-2 people ever. And I'm just like terrified. So when you asked me to do this, I was like, what an opportunity to just like let it all go and just get it over with.
Yeah.
Don't hold yourself
in a good way. Don't hold yourself back. Exactly. And I think that's another great place to kind of put, like, if you're an artist who wants to explore the same thing, come get involved, come showcase your stuff.
Seriously.
Here. Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Why not? Do what you want to do.
Do what you want to do. But get involved. Moksha Canada, thank you so much for providing us with this opportunity.
Seriously.
Because it's important, I think, to like so many artists came out of Kingston, for example, right? And Will here is from Kingston, and it's like you never know where your writing or where your journey is going to take you. Like, we both started in theater school. Now you're writing these fantastic songs. Like, who knows what's next? Like, no, but honestly, right? And it's like I can see some of these songs being on my next Spotify playlist, like, easily, like without even thinking about it. Like seriously,
What terrific exposure this is.
No, but actually, it's super important, and I feel really grateful to kind of like be showcasing like all of this local talent and to hear it. So I'm like super excited
to hear people for the first time. You never know, and I mean, this is like a huge milestone for me. It doesn't seem like much, but like personally, it's like a lot to wrap my head around. So really great to come in and just like share what I've been working on, and like nothing's finished. None of my songs have titles, and I like rewrite every 2 seconds. But
I love that.
I mean, like, what am I gonna do? Just sit on a stack of songs I've written for 2 years and just let them collect dust?
No, you got to do something with them for sure. Yeah, and I'm really happy that you are. When you have like an idea for a song, for example, do you kind of like, I guess this is just a writing thing, but like, do you go like chorus first? Like you hear a chorus first, or do you do like verse, or like what's your process?
It depends. Like sometimes I'll, like the first song I'm going to play, the hook came to me in like 2 seconds. I got like the chords. I was jamming on some chords, and I was joking around with my roommates. We wrote a funny song. But then I was like, oh, those chords are really good, and I'm going to use them. And then like the hook hit me like that. But sometimes it's like I will write an entire chord progression of a song, and then like lyrics won't hit me until months later.
Yeah.
Or like maybe there's a couple words here and there and I gotta fill in the blanks. Like what's it about?
Yeah.
Like what does this music feel like to me? What am I trying to like say, even without saying anything at all at first? Just like, what is the music telling me?
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's sort of like what I'm guessing is like music is what I'm hearing first, right? And
almost
then, like,
always.
And
almost
then
always.
the lyrics and everything kind of comes afterwards.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And like sometimes I don't even know what to write about.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm like, I'll just write I'll write a couple lyrics just to like fill the sound a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'll find it. You know what I mean?
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I
really like that process. And it's different like every time you kind of go into it too, right? Like
you never know
you want to write
happen.
about this experience. Oh, there was a pretty girl that day. Oh, I thought about that. Oh, okay, now I want to write a song about that. You know what I mean?
I did write about
like,
that once or twice too.
I mean, like it happens, right? Like that's an experience. But it's so cool to kind of see how that shines through in your work. I'm really excited to listen to it.
Thanks, man. It's so nice to hear feedback.
Yeah,
because I haven't really looked for any feedback, so it's really nice to hear feedback too. Like it means the world to me because it gives me incentive to be like, maybe I should keep try new things, put something out maybe for once.
What do you think about, because you're living in Toronto now, what do you think about the like community in Toronto now too? Like, do you think that kind of inspires you, like where you're at there? Like,
it's been so weird because like moved to Toronto mid 2019. I left for a few months to go do a show in Sudbury. I came back and then I did a show in Hamilton, and then I came back and then the pandemic happened. And then halfway through the pandemic I moved home for a bit, so it's like I haven't really felt out the Toronto arts and like music scene yet at all, and it's kind of hard to right now too. But I am like, I'm calling my friends who play and we'll jam, and I got roommates who play and they're great musicians, so I jam with them. Like there's no shortage of people to play with.
Your roommates always hear your songs first? You're always like,
no,
check out this chord progression.
I wait till the house is empty.
Oh no!
Like I'm so self-conscious. I'm still working on it. I'm really working on it. This is like step one right here.
It's tough, man. I'm the same way with writing too. Like, I'll be writing in my room and I'm like, oh, did someone hear that? I'm not sure if it's good, right?
Or like, this is like, this lyric is kind of a secret. Like, we'll wait. The
lyrics too, right? Yeah. No, I feel you on that.
Well, that's the part that I like. I'll play music, like stuff that I've written, but I will not sing my lyrics in front of people. I'm so self-conscious. Because
it's breaking that barrier of like, is this rhyme good enough? Am I saying what I want to hear?
Or
is
like,
it too cheesy?
And I write the cheekiest lyrics sometimes too.
But that's good too. Though.
Yeah,
people
like
appreciate
it's fun.
it,
It's fun, but sometimes you're like, is this too personal? Is this too personal? Am I gonna embarrass myself if I sing this or something like that? But that's like something personal is what makes good music.
What makes it good? I was just gonna say that. It's coming from here. It's
sometimes
coming from
we
you.
just like complete each other's
sentences.
Very nice.
Well, listen, I'm really excited to listen to your stuff. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
It was great to see
Moksha
you again.
Foundation.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Moksha, for providing this opportunity for us. Like, if you're an artist, get involved here. We want to see your stuff and perform. And
what a great host this guy is too. Terrific
I feel
guy.
so grateful. I feel so grateful to have artists such as yourself come in here and show themselves
great to come
a little
in,
bit.
Great to come in. This was awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's listen to some music, everyone.
Let's do it.
Let's
go.
Thank you so much.
Hi there. My name's Lincoln-Gouett, and I'm a Toronto-based artist. I'm here with the Moksha Foundation, who I'd like to thank very much for letting me come and play some original songs for you. I never play original songs for people. So it's nice to be in a space where I feel comfortable that I can do that. So thank you again. Without further ado, here's a song for you. Leave your key at the door when things can't be like before.
It's like you took my possessions, left me in a depression with just a mattress that lay on the floor. And I'm the only one still sleeping alone. Yeah, we could have chased it, but you're always wasted. I thought you'd be better off on your own. And the last call is long gone. So I came home and wrote down this song. Then I'll sleep for an hour, but that ain't so long. Said it ain't so long, 'cause the closest I have ever felt to you since being gone was when we fell asleep with the telephone on. Said the closest I have ever felt to you since being gone was when we fell asleep with the telephone on. Surprise, you wound up lonely. It ain't love that you need. 'Cause if I had it my way, well, lonely we would be. 'Cause at least then you'll be thinking about me. 'Cause the closest I have ever felt to you since being gone was when we fell asleep with the telephone on. Said the closest I have ever felt to you since being gone was when we fell asleep with the telephone on. And even after the bar is closed, the band is all gone, and them thoughts of you had me drinking till dawn. The closest I have ever felt to you since being gone was when we fell asleep with the telephone on.
Thank you. All right. None of my songs have names, but we're just going to keep rolling with it. This next one's a nice little folky ballad.
The ocean's glass, the world is sound asleep. The hours matter less when you have trouble counting sheep. The minutes turn to hours and turn to days. When moving fast is how you stay afloat. Sail away from things you love into the things you don't. And pray to God that they don't make you stay. If they did, it didn't matter anyway. Anyway, loneliness comes in the form of company. There are people in every port. For every port there's one for me. And if I didn't love, what kind of man would I be? Well, I'm still the same man that you claim had left you for the sea. don't get much rest when you're not near, it's true. I thought I might forget with every stranger that I once knew. Open currents will carry me through. Eventually they'll bring me back, oh, back to you. Loneliness comes in the form of company. There are people in every port. For every port there's one for me. And if I didn't love, what kind of man would I be? Well, I'm still the same man that you claim had left you for the sea. Well, you blew off course and you never seemed to care. Weary eyes set under the head of unkempt hair to cover up a heart of black and blue. A compass that just can't seem to point true. If I didn't love, what kind of man would I be now? But I'm still the same man that you claim had left you for the sea.
Thank you. This next one is a little spicier. There's no surprise, got a hole about the size of an ocean. Oh, in my heart, can we restart? I have been so blue without you. Can I ask you something, is it true? I was wondering if you feel it too. Me late at night, asking me if I am all right. Wasn't uptight till about now. There's nothing about my thoughts that ain't naughty. Now you proved your point, I'm thinking about your body. And we both know that this is long past due. When it's 2:30 and my guard is down, your arms are open wide. I'm coming up for tea, 'cause I know I'm getting honey on the side. Oh, 'cause time goes slowly when we get lonely. And it's your love that I want, and your love only. So coming up for tea, 'cause I know I'm getting honey on the side. Last time we said that this would be the last time, then time flew by, and I
can honestly say that I've tried. But you know how bored I get, and I'll bet you're dissatisfied with everyone you've met. And we both never can seem to forget, no. When it's 2:30 and my guard is down, your arms are open wide. I'm coming up for tea, 'cause I know I'm getting honey on the side. Oh, 'cause time goes slowly when we get lonely. And it's your love that I want, and your love only. So, coming up for tea, 'cause I know I'm getting, 'cause I know I'm getting, 'cause I know I'm getting, oh, I'm getting, oh. So you'll claim you'll be the person that you wanna be with someone that is not me. But every now and then you call, and your voice is dripping with sweet talking dough. And I'm thinking that I might go through withdrawal, babe. When it's 2:30 and my guard is down, your arms are open wide. I'm coming up for tea, 'cause I know I'm getting honey on the side. Oh, 'cause time goes slowly when we get lonely. And it's your love that I want, your love only. So, oh, coming up for tea, 'cause I know I'm getting honey on the side. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you, Moksha Foundation.
All right, wow. Will, a voice like butter over here. Everybody, that was Will Lincoln-Gouett. Make sure to support him on Facebook, on Instagram. Okay, we're going to be posting this everywhere. And if you are a Canadian artist, we're searching for local Canadian talent, whether you're in the GTA, whether you're in Toronto, all over Ontario. Come support the artists. Come showcase your talent. We want to see it. We want to see it. Do it. Exactly, right? Thank you so much for coming in, man. It was so awesome to hear you share your work.
And it's been years since I've seen you, too.
Oh, my
gosh. I mean, it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, and we need to do this sort of stuff through the lockdown, through COVID, through the pandemic. You know, let's get together. Let's showcase our talent. So get involved at Moksha Canada on Instagram, on Facebook, or mokshacanadafoundation.com. Please get involved, guys. Support your artists. And if you are an artist yourself, come on here. This is a great opportunity to showcase your talent. We want to see it. I'm your host, Carlo Bianchini, and I'll be with you guys every Sunday. So please tune in every Sunday to this live and inclusive resilience music arts podcast. And thank you so much again, Will.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks.